but I would like to call our regular board meeting to order at 7:39. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Ely.
Present.
Trustee Tierney.
Here.
Trustee Jones is absent. Mayor Thompson.
Here.
Trustee Horn.
Here.
Trustees Abraham and Brown Marino are absent. Mayor, we do have a quorum. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Can we all pause for a moment of silence? Thank you. Item 2, public comments. Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Ms. Redmond?
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, residents, and department members. First of all, Mayor, I want to thank you for those 25 certificates for Aldi, for the Broadview Food Pantry. When I was talking to Trustee Brown Moreno, the director of the food pantry, I asked her how they were going to be dispersed, and it's my understanding they're going to put everybody's name and then pull out 25, which I think is a very fair way of doing it. And I'm hoping not only we get 25, we get 25 more because we need it, okay? But thank you so much. I also wanted to thank, and he's not here, but I want to say this because I was at meetings when, and many of you were probably there too, when he was the former mayor Sherman Jones, and now trustee. Sherman Jones came over to the pantry Wednesday and brought a cash donation. And that may not be significant to any of you, but you know that many of us was at the meetings, the differences between he and now Director Brown Moreno. I am pleased to say that that man got past his differences and came over and did what was right for the Broadview residents. And so I appreciate that, and I want to say publicly thank him for that. And I also want to say, hey, congratulations to Linda Merrill. I didn't know she was retiring, but I heard that she is, and I appreciate her service at the in the the building department, and want to wish her well. And then one other thank you I want to make, and that goes to Matt Ames and Public Works. When we had that storm, when we had ice and all that rain recently, my neighbor next door, her tree really got hit, and it was on her property, to be honest with you. But absolutely, the branches was blocking the sidewalk. And I want to give Public Works credit because they came over and they cleared the sidewalk. They moved the branches to the street. They didn't have to, but they did, and they cut it down to make it a little bit more safely for everybody. So I like to give credit where credit is due. Merry Christmas to all, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Ms. Morgan?
My name is Barbara Morgan, 2512 South 18th Avenue, and I would like to say good evening to all of you. And I want to publicly thank Trustee Tierney for his cash donation to our food pantry. We're very thankful for the donations as they come in. And I also want to, I noticed that the street sweeper was out today cleaning my street, and that was so good to see, and I'm very thankful for that as well. And I also wanted to mention that the holiday brochure that was sent out, it looks to me like there might be an error on the food pantry, because our clients are allowed to come twice a month, and I believe it said once a month for the food pantries. So I just wanted to clarify that, and perhaps there could be a correction put in. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Mr. Fields?
Good evening to all the residents. Merry Christmas to all. I just have a basic complaint. I would like to know if it's possible where we could put an extension onto the tall grass that we have. Can we somehow alter that that alderman that we have, and make somebody to at least pick up the leaves or rake the leaves. If you have lawn services and you cut the service off before the leaves fall, they're going to leave the leaves there till the next year. Then when the snow comes and melt, then we got a mess because all the leaves will go to the drain, and that's why we have a lot of drainage clogged. So I would like for that ordinance to be changed where to include leaf pickup as well.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dawson?
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, fellow residents. Brian Dawson, 30-year resident, 2336 South 13th Avenue. Just here with just a brief suggestion. I've lived here for a while, and I was thinking that maybe it's about time we have a large event that would somehow bring the community together. And I was proposing just two small ideas. One would be a Broadview tree lighting ceremony, where we would host the entire community at the village. We get a couple trees from a local business, put them up, and we would invite different entities within the government, fire department, police department, water, everybody, and they could pick a tree and they could decorate it. And then the following year, we would open it up as a lottery to residents. And then each resident who won the lottery, their family would get to decorate the tree. It would be in front of the village hall, and maybe there would even be like a little award ceremony, and they get their picture in the paper or something like that. We'd have the little hot cider, some hot chocolate. Maybe we get the fire department to put together a bonfire for us, and everybody could just kind of come out and have a little Broadview event where the community gets together. Lately, it's been a lot of people kind of moving into Broadview, and we need to kind of get all these fresh faces on one accord, just so people understand, that Broadview, the balanced community, is a building community as well. We're about building community. Lastly, one more thing, one more idea. I was thinking maybe we could have like a Broadview Summerfest or like a barbecue competition or something where we would invite local residents to come out, and whoever thought they had the best skills would come out and with their wares, and we would have ice cream trucks, bouncy houses, et cetera, and maybe we could get different entities within the government to come. So like the library would come, and they would set up like a little reading table for the kids, and give out library cards. We can get the police and fire departments to come with the trucks and cars, and kids can climb on those or whatever they do. Maybe we can get the schools to come, do some face painting, et cetera, and just have an event in the summer and a major event in the winter where we could potentially bring the community together, keep the finances low. I know these things cost, but if we could put together a volunteer army, so to speak, where people would go around, advocate to other businesses, hey, let's all just kind of pitch in and do something big for Broadview. I appreciate you letting me go over my time. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Typically, I don't address the public comments during this time, but since there's a lot of good news that's taking place showing that we are a community that can come together during the holidays or to support our local food pantries, to see relationships being reestablished amongst the trustee that have not been good relationships in the past, that means a lot to me. That's what builds strong communities, when we all can work together and support one another. So that's some good news. To show that we are finally getting to be a unified community with all of our taxing bodies. That's our park district, our library, and our school boards. So with that being said, we plan on going on with those initiatives in 2019 to continue to deliver a good product to the residents that reside here. We worked really hard this past 2 years to establish some best practices, and we're going to continue on elaborating on those best practices, working with the leadership team that we have in place with our fire and police chief, our director of public works, our village administrator, and our building commissioner. We are very excited during these times. As it relates to the events that Mr. Dawson brought up, it's just ironic that you talk about those things, because Trustee Horn has actually wanted to do something this year as it relates to Roosevelt Road, but because of the time and then how long it takes for products to get to the community, it takes 6 to 8 weeks. the board did approve for us to do something. So for next year, during the winter season, we look to doing something festive as it relates to the lighting ceremony and doing a community initiative. So that's to come. We wanted to launch that this year, but because of how we have to order things and the timing, that didn't work in our favor this year. But if you drive down Roosevelt Road, we did do some lighting. So we do have some trees that's been lighted to show the festivity that we're doing in Broadview. And as it relates to the Broadview Summer Fest, we're looking to launch some initiatives, but that's truly a collaboration with our park district and our library and the school districts to pull that off, and then securing volunteers. So you bring in these great ideas, we can put you on the volunteer list to help us with these things. Okay, so we will add you to our volunteer list, and then when we get around to those conversations, we'll open it up, especially to our business partners, because they have a stake in this as well as it relates on the initiatives and how we move this village forward. So I'm happy to see the unity amongst the past elected officials and the current elected officials, and them working to work out their differences, because that's what really make us move forward in the right direction. So thank you for your public comments. Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam President. Item 3, communications. At this time, we have none.
At this time, Mayor, I'd like to move item B under new business up to this spot. Make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to move item 7, I'm sorry,
Item B.
On the new
8B to the current position. We're going to take the order of business out of order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none. Next item, 8B, a resolution congratulating Linda Merrill for her service to the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois. Need a motion.
We need a motion.
And a second.
Second.
And
Been properly motioned by Trustee Horn, seconded by Trustee Tierney. Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Merrill. The purpose of this resolution is to congratulate you for 16 years of service to the great village of Broadview. We truly appreciate your service, and we just wanted to recognize you and honor you tonight in your service to our community. Not only are you a resident, but you were an employee that I have a lot of respect for. So with that being said, we want to present you with a plaque, and it says, with sincere appreciation for your 16 years of dedicated public service, we thank you and enjoy your retirement. Village of Broadview, Katrina R. Thompson, Mayor, and the Board of Trustees, November 30th, 2018, because that's the day of your official retirement day. So happy retirement. And so we have the building commissioner and the building inspector. Do you want to give Linda a hug or congratulations because you worked with her?
That's Willie, her husband, back there. But before you take your seat, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to take a minute. Linda started in the village in 2002. She's been with me, or we've been together for about 10 years. And I want to publicly acknowledge her, and I thank her in terms of the Village of Broadview. We thank you. The building department, Greg and myself, we thank you. And I personally thank you for all of your contributions and what you have given to this community and helping me. I feel like I'm losing my right arm, but I wish you well, and thank you.
Thank you. Can we get a picture of your plaque?
Pardon me?
Can we get a picture of your plaque?
Oh, yes, you can.
Chief, can you? Yeah, you gotta. And then can we get a picture with Ms. Merrill, Commissioner Upshaw, and Greg?
Are you gonna make the motion?
This is not goodbye, this is just happy retirement. All right, thank you, Ms. Merrill, for your service.
Move to return to item 4 on the agenda.
Second.
It's been motioned by trustee Ely, seconded by trustee Tierney to return to the regular order of business. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Hearing no opposition. Item 4, consideration to approve the following minutes. Minutes from the December 3rd, 2018 regular board meeting.
Make a motion to approve with the changes.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Tierney, seconded by trustee Horn, and that was with changes.
Yeah, I sent a change to you that I needed through email.
I did receive your change.
Okay,
And I also got changes from trustee Horn.
okay.
Thank you, Madam President.
What were the changes?
Yeah.
Change number 1 from trustee Horn. There was a discussion on item E, and we didn't list that there was discussion, so we're gonna recheck the minutes and give minor detail on that discussion. Change number 2, trustee Jones did not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and that was it.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call?
Yeah, please.
Okay, for a roll call, trustee Ely,
Abstain.
trustee Tierney,
Yes.
trustee Jones is absent, Mayor Thompson,
Yes.
trustee Horn,
Yes.
trustee Abraham and Brown Moreno are absent. It carries 4 to 0. Next item, item 5, consideration to approve expenditures. Grand total of all funds, $1,460,874.05.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Horn, seconded by trustee Tierney. Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. In the absence of our finance chair, trustee Abraham, trustee Tierney, will you please read the warrant list?
Yes, I will. Al Warren Oil Company, Inc., $24,528.91. Alfred G. Ronan Limited, $4,000. AT&T, $3,779.37. B&F Construction Code Services, $4,579.70. Baker Tilly Virchow Kraus LLP, $22,800. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, $157,868.93. Business card, $3,522.57. Commonwealth Edison, $2,705.72. Edwin Hancock Engineering, $14,593. Geno's Heating and Plumbing, Inc., $34,862.50. Groot, Inc., $75,064.42. Mecca Tree Service, Inc., $6,410. Mercury Systems, $51,578.55. Mid-American Water, $4,513.60. Montana and Welch LLC, $14,490.37. Mullen Food Products, $100,000. Nicor Gas, $3,080.33. Public Safety Direct, Inc., $11,720.33. Riley Construction, $872,549.72. Station Automation, Inc., $2,550. Timothy J. Hicks, CPA, $4,500. Windstream, $3,662.23. for total expenditures over $2,500, $1,423,360.25. Total expenditures, $1,460,874.05. For a percentage of the total is 97%. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, trustee. Trustee Ely?
No comment.
Trustee Tierney?
No comment.
Trustee Horn?
No questions.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Ely.
Yes.
Trustee Tierney.
Yes.
Trustee Jones is absent. Mayor Thompson.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustees Brown Moreno and Abraham are absent. Mayor, that carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Next item, item 6, village officer reports. These reports are given at the second meeting of each month. And just so you know, a copy of each of the department heads' report has been provided to each board member. And at this time, we're going to start with the building department. Commissioner David Upshaw.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, trustees. As the clerk had stated, my report is on file with the mayor and the board. Do you have any questions at this time?
Trustee Ely?
I have none.
Trustee Tierney?
I have none.
Trustee Horn?
I read it, nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Upshaw.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Upshaw. Next is the finance department. Finance Director Tim Hicks.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, residents.
Good evening.
My report is for year-to-date, November 30th, 2018. For the month of November, we had revenues of $563,970 versus expenditures of $1,462,901 for a net deficit of $898,931 for the month. Year-to-date, we have a total revenues of $7,563,826 versus expenditures of $8,167,361 for a net deficit of $603,000. This is versus a year-to-date budget on a straight line basis. We should be about $9 million in revenue. The lag there is in property taxes. We haven't received the second installment, which we anticipate in the next month or so, which would catch us up once that's been dispersed by the Cook County Treasurer. As for expenditures, we're right on target for expenditures. On a straight line basis, we would have been about $8.7 million through 7 months. We're at 8.1. This is just timing of expenditures because we don't spend on an even basis throughout the year. And when we look at each department, finances, it appears $363,000 over budget, but that's for insurance payment that was paid out of the finance that will be allocated to all of the departments. And the fire and police show favorability at this point in personnel, and that's because we haven't collected and sent out the pension payment. So that's why we're seeing favorability in those departments. At this time, are there any questions?
I have none.
Trustee Tierney?
I have none.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Can you elaborate on the status of the audit and then explain the levy before we get into that in your report?
Okay. In terms of the audit, one of the things that really want to let the residents and the trustees know is that there's 3 or 4 components to the audit. We have fire and pension audits that are component units of our audit, and then this year we had to have what they call an OPEP, which is other post-employment benefit audit, and so that audit is taking place, and we rely on the pension boards to get their audit done, which this year has taken a little longer than anticipated. And then we're also, with the third audit, with the OPEP audit, we're waiting on that to be completed. And once we've gotten a pension audit from both, there's two components to both pension. There's an actuarial report and there's an actual audit report of the pension fund. And so both of those reports need to be done for each pension. The actuarial report is a report that really shows the market value of all of the contributions that have been made and versus the pension liability. And so the actuarials put that together to say where we are, to what the funding status is of the pension fund. And then there's just an audit of the pension fund itself. We combine that, the pension, fire, and police, and then this year with the OPEP audit, because it has to be done every 5 years. And then we combine that with an audit of the village as well. So with all of those different moving parts, this year we're behind schedule in getting it completed, but we anticipate that the audit will be done by the end of January. As far as the tax levy is concerned, the tax levy is really based on the EAV, which is the equalized assessed value of Cook County as a whole, and specifically for Proviso Township. And it's a very simplistic when you look at the levy, because all the different components have limits, and so the biggest component of the tax levy is the pension for fire and police. And once we get those numbers that are provided based on actuarial report, we plug those numbers in along with the other line items, and so what you have is the tax levy is slightly less than last year's tax levy, and that's based on the fact that we borrowed less money for the rollover bond. And so the increase is capped at CPI, which we did for all the line items that we were able to. We take the exact number that is provided by the actuarial report for the fire and pension, and we plug those numbers in along with some other numbers in, and we got to a levy that is less than 1% of last year's levy, which would be used for fiscal 20 or fiscal, yeah, we're in fiscal 20's budget.
Thank you.
Are both, can I ask a question? Are both pension funds behind, or they're working on them now?
No, they're done. So
They're
the
done.
last
Okay.
one is the OPEP, and then we need to finish
Okay.
off and combine that with the audit of the village, and then we should be done. Because the other thing is the availability of the auditors as well. So even though once they were all the audits are done from the pension boards and the actuarial reports, our auditors didn't have availability and to come back to finish up until January.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks.
All right.
Mr. Attorney?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I'd like to thank Mr. Hicks for his explanation. I'm sure he would reiterate the fact that the state law requires the village to pass and have filed the tax levy for the corporate authorities for the purposes set forth, such as police, fire, and public service, before the last Tuesday of every year, which would be Christmas, and obviously the county's closed. So this will be the last meeting before the required time for the levy to be passed by the corporate authorities. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Okay, thank you, Director Hicks. Next item is the Fire Department, Chief Tracy Kinney.
Don't break it.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
You do have my report in front of you, and if you have any questions on that, I would like to add one thing, which we were pretty excited about finding out tonight. Thanks to Delgado Law Group, Tiffany and James, who worked on this. we were able to recoup all the money that we spent having the engine repaired by going after the company's filter that caused it. So it was over $17,000, almost close to $20,000 in the end with labor and expenses that the village is going to get back. So good news.
Yeah.
Other than that, does anyone have any questions about my report?
Trustee Ely?
I have two. Good job on getting the money back. I know you were working hard to do that. The second thing is we're going to have a police and fire committee meeting January 9th at 7:30.
January
Again,
9th?
January 9th.
Okay.
January 9th, 7:30. Be right here. That's all I have.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Clerk? Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Thank you, Chief. Next item is the Police Department, Chief Kevin Ugling.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees.
Good evening.
I have submitted my November report, and any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Trustee Ely?
I got 1,000, but none tonight.
Trustee Tierney?
I have none.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief.
Oh,
Next
Chief,
item?
just one thing, you heard him on the Police and Fire Committee meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next item, Public Works Department, Director Matt Ames.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, and everyone in attendance.
Good evening,
Chris. I believe the Public Works Department monthly report was submitted to the clerks in the mayor's office, and it should be on file.
It is.
That being said, the only thing that I would like to add before questions or comments is we've asked our service provider group to collect sticker yard waste one more week. So
that ending what, this week or next
this week?
Okay.
So obviously, we've been having some unseasonably warm weather, and we know that folks are excited about trying to, as some of the residents alluded to, trying to get some leaves picked up before the next significant snowfall. So please note that they have to be stickered in order to be collected. So that being said, at this point, Mayor, questions or comments?
Thank you, Trustee Ely.
None.
Trustee Ely? Trustee Tierney?
I have nothing.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ames.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thanks, Director Ames. Next is the Administrative Department, Village Administrator Letisa Jones.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, and residents. My report as well is attached to your legislative information. Are there any questions at this time?
Well, I've got one. I've gotten several phone calls from residents here in Broadview. They're still complaining about late notices on their water bills. I've got one neighbor said that hers goes back 5 months. I myself have gotten late notices on my water bills for the last 3. Is there something we can do? Because what they all said and what my wife has been told is that the bank is not sending the check out in time, or the post office is not delivering the mail in time. But these are 25, 30, 35-year residents that religiously pay their water bills, and we haven't had this problem until recently. Is something else going on that we can't control?
No, sir, and thank you for that. We've been receiving calls as well, and I've informed the mayor and her office. And what is happening is that when you pay your bill online through your bank, that bank is not local, meaning that they don't send it out that day. They send that payment out the next day. It takes 7 to 10 business days, not including weekends, because we're not here on the weekends. And we notice that we're getting checks and they're late. So we've been informing and letting the residents know to please contact your bank, because they don't send them out in a timely manner like when you all pay. And that has been for the last couple of months of where we've been having with issues. And I've walked through some residents of where we've contacted the bank, because I can't contact them, but I've been on the phone, and of where they've even stated they don't send that payment out right when you do that online. They send it out the very next day.
Well, 2 things. I had one neighbor that tells me that she religiously puts it in the drop box right outside the village. So that piqued my interest. The other is that my last water bill, we had the bank issue a check the same day. Don't wait, let's send it in early. We still got a late charge. But if there's something that we as a village government can do in the village administrative office, it would be appreciated by all of the residents. Thank you.
Yes, and we have, just so you know, we have, every time the complaint comes in, I do address it and make it aware to the mayor and the mayor's office. And the concern that's for me, of where when I'm speaking to residents, of where I give them that one-time service where I refund it, but of where they have to do their due diligence in contacting the bank and also making a complaint with the post office, because we hand give all of our mailing to our post office worker, and where he takes them to the post office. So we don't put them in the drop box. We pick up a mail every day. And then on the last business day of the month, where we have it on the bills, we actually go out there. I physically go out there, and at 5:02, we're picking up the last bulk of the mail. So we process every day. We don't hold any checks over. We process every day. Yes, sir.
Trustee Tierney?
I have no comment.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Let me just add with the water bill in the drop box, if a resident is dropping off their water bill in the drop box that we have for water bill payments, if at 5 o'clock and we collecting all of the payments and they go after that, they're gonna receive a late notice because we don't go the next day. The cutoff time is 5 o'clock. So we always go on the last day of the month at 5 o'clock so that we can get all of that, and that's processed. All of our water bills are processed the same day. The neighbors that's calling and sharing their concerns with you, this is the first time, I don't even know who it is, but if it's a concern that is not being addressed through the village administrator who's responsible for the collection of water bills, it's not being escalated to my level of service so that I can chime in to see what is actually taking place as it relates to the late payments. We have been getting a lot of the late payments, but as Ms. Jones stated, the bank that's processing your payments, they are out of town. They're not like in Broadview where the mail come here directly. And if you look historically, if it falls on a holiday, that's a delay in the mail service. So to be proactive and not receive late notices, we do have a lockbox that you can drop that payment off if that's a concern. But to continue to pay online and continue to get penalties, so as a resident, we have to have ownership of that as well, or pay online through the e-pay. So thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item of business is item 7, old business. A resolution approving the final budget for a certain intergovernmental agreement regarding the Ike 911 Center between the Village of Broadview and the Village of Maywood for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois. This was tabled from the last meeting.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Horn, seconded by Trustee Tierney. Madam President.
Thank you. The purpose of this resolution is to approve the final budget for a certain intergovernmental agreement regarding the Ike 911 Center between the Village of Broadview and the Village of Maywood. I do know that it's on their agenda to be approved for tomorrow night. Trustee Ely?
Well, it's, the figures are right in line with what we have been told all the time, but it references a phase 1. Is there phase 2 and a phase 3? There's gonna be more?
No.
Okay,
That is it.
Okay, well,
That's it.
and has Maywood, you said Maywood is going to approve
It's on
payment of
their
their
agenda.
share tomorrow?
It's on the agenda for tomorrow. Their board actually meets tomorrow.
Okay, all right, nothing more for me.
Okay, Trustee Tierney?
No questions.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Ely.
Yes.
Trustee Tierney.
Yes.
Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Horn.
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson.
Yes.
This item carries 4-0. Next item on the agenda, item 7B, old business, an ordinance amending chapters 2 of the Broadview Village Code in connection with adopting certain fire codes and life safety codes for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois. This also was tabled from the last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Tierney, seconded by Trustee Horn. Madam President.
The purpose of this ordinance is to amend Chapter 2 of the Broadview Village Code in connection with adopting certain fire codes and life safety codes for the village. Inspector, we had tabled this because we needed to get more information, so can you elaborate on what the request was from the last meeting?
Yes, what I did is I went through, there's 2 distinct codes we're trying to update and modernize. The life safety code, which up until now we've been following 2009. Our ordinance basically states that we will adopt the most current version. Talking to Tiffany from the Village Law Group, We thought that wasn't a good practice to just automatically adopt them, so we chose a year, and the year we chose was 2012 because of our contracts with the hospital. They have to, by mandate, follow 2012 Life Safety Code. So we went with 2012. There's not a significant difference between 2009, which we have been following, in 2012. So any questions on the life safety portion of the code, because it's two distinct codes. The second code is the International Fire Code. The last time we've adopted a fire code was in 1999. So this is modernizing our portion, the fire department's portion, which is basically the building code. Building department has a building code. Once the building is built, then the fire department has fire codes to say what you can do with the building, how you can store flammable liquids, how you can store pallets, what fire alarms, what sprinkler systems, and that kind. So what you have before you is the adjustment of 20 years of code that is either outdated or obsolete to the modern day code of that version.
Okay, Trustee Ely?
Good work. Thanks. That's all.
Trustee
I have no
Tierney?
questions.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Ely?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Inspector. Item 8, new business. A resolution mourning the passing of Sylvester Smitty Smith Jr. for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
We need a
Move
motion.
to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Ely, seconded by Trustee Tierney. Madam President.
Thank you. This is just a resolution mourning the passing of Sylvester Smitty Smith Jr. for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois. Mr. Smith was a longtime resident in the Village of Broadview. He was born November 11, 1943 in St. Louis, Missouri to the late Sylvester Smith Sr. and Thelma Jones. Mr. Smith was joined in holy matrimony to his beloved and devoted wife, Beatrice, for 48 years. They have resided in Broadview, Illinois since 1979 and were blessed with twin daughters, Nikisha and Nicola. He was preceded in death by one brother, Ewan Smith Sr. He confessed his life to Christ at an early age, First Baptist Church in Melrose Park, Illinois. Mr. Smith was fondly known as Smitty by those who knew him and would always say, "I am the hawk and it ain't my fault." This resolution is just a procedural resolution. We've already presented the family with the resolution, but we need to rectify it tonight because the service has already taken place. Trustee Ely?
Reading resolution, it was a life well lived, rest in peace, Mr. Smitty.
Yeah. Trustee Tierney?
I have no other comments.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing.
Mr. Clerk?
Trustee Ely?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustees Brown Marino and Abraham are absent. Madam President, this carries 3-0. We've already covered item B. We're going to skip to item 8C, an ordinance for the levy of taxes for fiscal year 2018 for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Horn, seconded by Trustee Tierney. Madam President.
Thank you. The purpose of this ordinance is to authorize and improve the 2018 property tax levy. The Truth in Taxation Act requires municipal taxing bodies to determine the amounts of money estimated to be necessary to be raised by taxation for that year upon the taxable property in its district and to pass and file a tax levy ordinance with the county clerk on or before the last Tuesday in December. Section 35 ILCS 200/18-60, 65 ILCS 5-8-3-1. Trustee Ely?
Just confirmation from the finance director. You did say that this levy is slightly less than last year's, and it's primarily because we did not have to take on an additional rollover bond, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all.
Trustee Tierney?
I have no other questions.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Ely?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor, this carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Next item, D, a resolution of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois, supporting a Class B real estate tax assessment renewal application by BTC 7 Properties LLC for an industrial facility located at 2401 Gardner Road.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Horn, seconded by trustee Tierney. Madam President?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The purpose of this resolution is to support and consent the renewal of the Cook County 6B tax assessment classification for property located at 2401 Gardner Road. Section 74-63 of the Cook County Real Property Assessment Classification Ordinance provides that a Class B incentive may be renewed if certain requirements are met, including that the municipality in which the real estate is located adopts a resolution expressing stating that the municipality has determined that the industrial use of the property is necessary and beneficial to local economy, and that it supports and consents a renewal of the 6B classification. We have been working very diligently to put in good programming as it relates to 6B, 7Cs, or even our TIF district programs in place to solidify our business partner relationships with our business partners. They are a part of our community. I feel wholeheartedly that we should support good businesses that do good business here in town. They have been a great business partner in the last 12 years. And I'm going to yield the floor over to Commissioner Upshaw to go more into depth, or Attorney Ingersoll that can elaborate more on the program and what's been implemented with this particular 6B.
Cook County offers a 6B program. It's a 12-year reduction in real estate assessments from the standard Cook County 25%. Qualifying the first 10 years, there is a 10% reduction. The 11th year is 15, and the 12th year is 20%, I believe. The properties have to be industrial, and it's for the purpose of new construction, reoccupying any vacant or abandoned properties, or rehabilitation of properties. The resolution that you have before you this evening is for a renewal of a 6B application, and I believe they received their 6B in 2007. In 2007. The said property is 2104 South Gardner. There is a business, the business owners, biotech, and we have Mr. and Mrs. Gluck here as well. My recommendation from the building department is that we support this program because we want to keep businesses in Broadview, and we're looking for new businesses. They've been in the community a long time. The property was abandoned, and they have spent substantial funds in terms of rehabilitating that property and where it is today.
Thank you. Trustee Ely?
Well, right off the top, to be honest, I don't believe in renewals of 6Bs. If they work the first time around, they've served their purpose. I have an additional, oh, by the way, you said the address is 2104 Gardner, but it's
2401 Gardner?
Yeah. Okay, but this one, for me, was especially troublesome because accompanying the application for Class 6B was a promise to donate nearly $200,000 to the village of Broadview over the life of the 6B. Mentioning money at the state statutes, that sounds to me like pay to play rather than to almost extortion level. If you're going to give the guy a 6B, give him a 6B, but to charge him for it, that's almost extortion to me. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Attorney, would you like to address Trustee Ely's position? Because to say it's extortion is furthest from the truth as it relates to this program. It just shows good business partnerships and how we give back to the community, and they have made an allegiance to give back to the community so that we're able to do more to support their initiatives moving forward in the next 12 years. As they have already, the first 12 years, based off my understanding, is they put in their own monies to bring the building up to code and to get it into a habitable situation. If we're in position to offset some costs for them and they offset some costs for the village, that is not a form of extortion, and then it's not a pay to play. So, Mr. Attorney, would you like to elaborate on that, please?
Yes, Madam President. Trustee Ely, it's a common, to your point with renewals, they got the assessment, they had the benefit for 12 years, recognizing that they've also benefited as their
time. You're not going to convince me that this is not correct. So you can change their minds or convince them. You're not going to convince me. You know, so
Thank you, Mr.
I see
Attorney.
this as,
Trustee Tierney?
I see
I have
this
no
as-
comment.
Trustee Horn?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Ely?
Nay.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Madam President, this fails 2-1.
Okay, thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item E, a resolution establishing the annual meeting schedule for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Ely, seconded by Trustee Tierney. Madam President?
Thank you. The purpose of this resolution is to approve the annual schedule of board meetings. Trustee Ely?
Well, it's, the schedule is cool. I haven't really gone over the dates with fine tooth comb, but we have to be careful next year because this particular year we had meeting dates scheduled and one meeting was canceled. So we actually owed the residents one regular business meeting. But next year we should try not to make that same mistake.
Well,
That
if all the
concludes-
trustees come to the meeting that's scheduled, you guys get the calendar ahead of time. So if you fail to come to a regular board meeting, then you're gonna have a business meeting not scheduled. So it is in all due respect, we got elected to a position to uphold the calendar and conduct the business of the village. And if trustees are not showing up to meetings, that's problematic. I can't control. Every trustee get a text from me the morning of to confirm their attendance. And to year to date right now, you have yet to confirm, except twice, that you was not coming due to family matters. So we do have a schedule in front of us that's been given to all of the trustees. It's your due diligence to go through the calendar to make sure that these dates are correct. Have you gotten any response from any of the trustees as it relates to the calendar, Mr. Clerk?
I have not.
So we do our due diligence to make sure that the calendar is correct based off the dates of our schedule, first Mondays and third Mondays on every month. So we can't make you come to a meeting. All we can do is give you the information and hope that you do due diligence on why you was elected to hold the seat.
Actually, the meeting I was referring to was one that you missed and you canceled.
No, I didn't cancel a meeting because I missed.
Yeah, you canceled.
Okay, well, what's the date?
I'll send you the date in an email, but you canceled a meeting and then 3 days later called for a special meeting. It's, but I'll send you those dates.
Please do. Trustee Tierney?
I have no comment.
Trustee Horn?
No comment.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Ely?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustees Brown Marino and Abraham are absent. Madam President, this carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item is item 9, application for the authority to expend funds. We have none, which brings us to item 10, village clerk. I have something to say, but I'm going to be brief. I want to thank everyone who was involved with Operation Santa Claus, starting from the top with the Mayor Thompson and her vision. I also like to thank Tracy Kinney, Chief Tracy Kinney with the Fire Department, and Commander Tom Koska with the Broadview Police Department. They did a wonderful job organizing and making sure everything was perfect. I mean, that night was beautiful. This room, you would not believe that it was transformed into like a Christmas wonderland, but we were able to touch the heart of 15 families and basically make their Christmases wonderful. I think I probably got more out of it than they did. I was assigned to one of the families who happened to be an adult man who was recently moved back to Broadview. He lived in Broadview, fell upon hard times, was in a shelter for a while. He's back in Broadview now, and it was such a pleasure to spend time with Mort that evening and make sure that his Christmas was wonderful, like those of us that are a little bit more fortunate. So hats off to everyone that was involved. I'm looking forward to next year's Operation Santa Claus. And Mayor, again, thank you for having that vision and letting this go forward. That concludes my report, Mayor. Next item is item 11, Village President, Katrina Thompson.
Thank you. I would like to first say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all. I can't take all of the credit for Operation Santa. Actually, it was it came to birth with Sergeant Confetti when his daughter needed to do an assignment, and it just took legs and ran, but I've supported the initiative ever since it was brought to me, and it's a good thing because one thing I know for sure and for certain as it relates to Broadview, the residents are compassionate and our business partners are compassionate, and we believe in giving to those in need, in the time of need, and during the holiday season, this is a time for us to all reflect on the past year, on how we perceive how life should be, but is not the perception of the person that's living the life. So I'm grateful to God that that has taken place, that we show compassion to those in need. Operation Center was a huge success. We were able to bless multiple families. People came together. The kids, I mean, just to see their faces light up when they got the surprise that they were going on a shopping spree to Target and they actually get the, whatever it is the need was for the family, and for us to bless the family wholeheartedly. But it's not, it wasn't just about me in the vision, it was about the team in the vision. And I have to give kudos to Commander Koska, who works effortless to make sure that these pieces are put together. And Chris, the fire chief, administrative assistant, I mean, she's so detailed in every inch of the way through the program. And then the police and fire chief, we just literally just get behind the staff and make sure that the agenda is pushed forward. So I'm grateful for all of those relations and the collaboration that we have, and then the village clerk coming in to be a part of a family, to be able to have that open dialogue, to know what the needs are in our community, because he is the eyes and ears behind a lot of the behind the scene things that we don't get the privilege to do. So it's an honor and it's my pleasure, and I'm blessed to be able to serve Broadview at the highest level of this office, being your mayor. So I'm grateful for that. So thank you for that. Also, I would like to address the 6B issue. It's unfortunate that when we have good programs in place that works well for the better of Broadview, everyone don't get the information to be educated on the process and what that look like, instead of just making accusation on what things are perceived to be. So to the business partners that's been here for the past 12 years, my sincere apologies to you for that lack of ignorance. It's unacceptable, because the information is given to the trustee ahead of time for them to be able to call the commissioner or call the attorneys or call my office, and due diligence wasn't given at that level. So on behalf of myself and my office, I sincerely believe in the program. I believe in supporting our local businesses. You guys have been great to Broadview. For the past 12 years, you've put a lot of your sweat and tears into this business to see it flourish to where it is now, to where you can kind of see the light. And as we look at, it relates to Cook County taxes, that's something that's out of my control and this board control. We can't control the taxes that the county implement to our corporate partners. But what we can do is be a good partner to put in programs that help out the business partners that want to do business in Cook County. You could have chose a lot of different other towns or villages or even counties to do business in, but you selected to do your business in Broadview. And for that, I'm thankful for that opportunity that you guys looked upon us to do business with. I guess I don't know what the next steps are, but let us work through that as we get through the next steps, because you have my full support, and I'm sure you have some trustee support as well. So we'll work out those concerns, but having solid programs that we didn't have in place before this administration. We never had programs in place as it relates to 6Bs. We didn't have programs in place as it relates to the 7Cs. We didn't have programs in place as it relates to the TIF. And now that the village is moving in the right direction, we still have a chokehold on not understanding what the programs look like. The information is public information. You can go to the county website and get the information as it relates on how this works. It's a very complicated tax system. And the average person wouldn't understand it, but I understand the gist of it. I understand doing economic development and developing and bringing good opportunities to Broadview. And I will continue to work on behalf of not only the residents, but our business partners such as you all. So I apologize for that. I would like to say, as we move forward into the new year, I wish you many, many blessings. And I'm not the one that like to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I do have some good news to share with the village of Broadview. At the National League of Cities, which is a national organization, I was selected to be on the Committee for Community and Economic Development. So some things I do have some knowledge of, but to be on a national level to support our community, and it's not just about Broadview. Why I'm so excited is it's about Proviso Township. It's about the Midwest. And I'm at the table with other mayors or councilmen across this country where they have a platform laid out for the whole year for us to consider ideas and plans and to brainstorm. That's why I sit in this seat, because I love what I do. I love what I can bring back to my community, and I'm not selfish with what I have for this community. I want to share with my colleagues that there are mayors that sit bordered next to us. I want to share it with the Proviso Township, but I'm super excited about sharing it with the Midwest on what we can do to develop economically, because we are in the Midwest. We rely so much on transportation, and what that looks like to develop a community as we move forward in Broadview. The sky is the limit for Broadview. We're a small town, but we have a lot of great big ideas, and I want to just make sure that we get everything that we hadn't gotten. I want to make sure that we move forward in that direction to have. So on behalf of myself and our administrative staff and the leadership in Broadview, we just wish you God bless, Happy New Year, and much prosperity in 2019. Merry Christmas to all. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been properly motioned by Trustee Tierney and seconded by Trustee Horn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none.
Ms. Ratman?
We are officially adjourned at 8:40 p.m.